Cleopatra VII. Cleopatra, often simply referred to as Cleopatra, stands as one of history's most captivating figures. Her name evokes images of grandeur, intelligence, and a woman who defied the norms of her time to carve out a place in history that remains unparalleled. Her story, shrouded in intrigue and romance, has resonated through the ages, captivating generations with its blend of power, love, and tragedy. Cleopatra's life was a tapestry woven with threads of political acumen, passionate love affairs, and a relentless pursuit of power. She was not just a queen, she was a symbol of Egypt's enduring spirit. As the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, Cleopatra's reign marked the twilight of an era, witnessing the fall of the pharaohs and the rise of Roman dominance. Her leadership came at a time when Egypt was struggling to maintain its sovereignty against the encroaching power of Rome. A challenge that required both strategic brilliance and diplomatic finesse. Born in 69 BC, Cleopatra inherited a kingdom on the brink of collapse. The once mighty Egyptian empire was now a shadow of its former self, plagued by internal divisions and external threats. From a young age, Cleopatra was thrust into a world of political turmoil and had to quickly learn the art of survival. Egypt, once a beacon of civilization, found itself grappling with internal strife and the looming threat of Roman expansionism. The internal conflicts weakened the state, making it vulnerable to external forces. Cleopatra's ability to navigate these challenges showcased her exceptional leadership and strategic mind. Yet Cleopatra, armed with her intellect, charisma, and unwavering ambition, navigated these treacherous waters, leaving an indelible mark on the ancient world. Her education, which included studies in philosophy, languages, and sciences, equipped her with the tools to engage with the greatest minds of her time and to rule with wisdom and insight. Her life, intricately intertwined with the fates of Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, two of Rome's most powerful men, shaped the course of history. Cleopatra's relationships with these influential figures were not merely romantic. They were strategic alliances that she used to bolster her position and protect her kingdom. This essay delves into the extraordinary life of Cleopatra, exploring her rise to power, her complex relationships, and her enduring legacy. Her ascent to the throne was marked by cunning and determination, and her reign was characterized by efforts to restore Egypt's former glory and independence. From the opulent palaces of Alexandria to the battlefields that sealed her fate, Cleopatra's story is one of resilience, cunning, and ultimately tragedy. Her death marked the end of an era, but her legacy lived on, inspiring countless works of art, literature, and historical inquiry. Cleopatra remains a figure of fascination, a testament to the enduring power of a woman who dared to defy the odds and leave her mark on the world. Born into the Ptolemaic dynasty, Cleopatra entered a world steeped in both splendor and ruthless power struggles. The Ptolemies, descendants of Alexander the Great's general Ptolemy the Soter, ruled Egypt for nearly 3 centuries, embracing Greek culture while presiding over a predominantly Egyptian population. Cleopatra's early years unfolded in the royal court, a melting pot of intrigue where power was a dangerous game. She witnessed firsthand the machinations and betrayals that characterized Ptolemaic politics. Her father, Ptolemy XIV, was a weak and unpopular ruler, his reign plagued by revolts and financial instability. This tumultuous environment, far from sheltering Cleopatra, exposed her to the complexities of power at a young age. She received a privileged education, immersing herself in philosophy, literature, mathematics, and astronomy. Fluent in several languages, Cleopatra possessed a sharp intellect and a thirst for knowledge, qualities that would serve her well in the years to come. But beyond intellectual pursuits, Cleopatra observed the art of governance, learning the delicate dance of diplomacy and the ruthless pragmatism required to maintain power in a kingdom rife with internal and external threats. The Ptolemaic dynasty, though renowned for its patronage of the arts and sciences, was plagued by internal strife and power struggles. This period of history is marked by a series of dramatic events that shaped the course of ancient Egypt. The Ptolemies, who ruled Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great, were often embroiled in conflicts that threatened the stability of their reign. Incestuous marriages, a common practice among the Ptolemies to maintain their bloodline's purity, often fueled rivalries and instability. These unions, intended to consolidate power within the family, frequently led to bitter disputes and power struggles. The desire to keep the royal bloodline pure often resulted in complex and contentious family dynamics. Cleopatra's own family tree was a testament to this intricate web of relationships. Her lineage was a tangled mix of alliances and enmities, each branch of the family tree representing a different facet of the Ptolemaic dynasty's turbulent history. Cleopatra's position within this web was both a source of strength and vulnerability. Her father, Ptolemy IV, had seized the throne after a period of upheaval. His ascent to power was marked by a series of political maneuvers and alliances that ultimately secured his position as the ruler of Egypt. However, his reign was far from stable. His reign, marked by extravagance and misrule, further weakened the kingdom's already precarious position. Ptolemy VI's lavish spending and poor governance drained the kingdom's resources and left it vulnerable to external threats and internal dissent. When he died in 51 BC, he left the throne jointly to Cleopatra, then 18 years old, and her younger brother, Ptolemy X. This arrangement was intended to ensure a smooth transition of power, but it quickly became apparent that the joint rule was fraught with challenges. This joint rule, however, was destined for conflict, as both siblings harbored ambitions for sole control of Egypt. Cleopatra and Ptolemy XIII's differing visions for the future of Egypt and their personal ambitions set the stage for a bitter power struggle. The Ptolemaic court, a hotbed of political maneuvering, became the stage for a power struggle between Cleopatra and her brother. The court was filled with intrigue as various factions sought to gain the upper hand in the ongoing conflict. Eunuchs, advisors, and military leaders aligned themselves with one sibling or the other, each faction vying for influence and control. These alliances were often fluid, with individuals switching sides as the balance of power shifted. Cleopatra, despite her intelligence and charisma, faced an uphill battle. Her ability to navigate the treacherous waters of Ptolemaic politics was constantly tested, and she had to rely on her wits and charm to maintain her position. Her brother's faction, recognizing her as the greater threat, moved to sideline her, eventually forcing her to flee Alexandria. This exile was a significant setback for Cleopatra, but it also provided her with an opportunity to regroup and plan her next move. Her determination and resilience would eventually lead her back to power, but the path ahead was fraught with danger and uncertainty. Exiled from her own capital, Cleopatra refused to accept defeat. She was a queen by birth and by spirit, and the thought of surrendering her throne was inconceivable to her. Her exile was not just a physical displacement, but a challenge to her very identity and authority. She gathered her forces, leveraging her family's connections and her own political acumen to rally support. Cleopatra knew that to reclaim her throne, she needed more than just military might. She needed the loyalty and trust of her people. She reached out to allies, old and new, and used her charisma to inspire them to her cause. Meanwhile, Julius Caesar, having pursued his rival Pompey the Great to Egypt, arrived in Alexandria, drawn into the Ptolemaic power struggle. Caesar's arrival was a turning point, not just for Cleopatra, but for the entire region. The Roman general was a force to be reckoned with, and his presence in Alexandria signaled a shift in the balance of power. Cleopatra, recognizing Caesar's arrival as an opportunity, orchestrated a daring plan to meet him. She understood that aligning with Caesar could be the key to regaining her throne. Her plan was bold and risky, but Cleopatra was never one to shy away from a challenge. According to legend, she had herself smuggled into Caesar's presence rolled up in a carpet. This dramatic entrance was not just a means of gaining an audience with Caesar, but a statement of her resourcefulness and determination. It was a gamble that paid off, capturing Caesar's attention and setting the stage for their alliance. Whether or not the story is entirely accurate, it speaks to Cleopatra's audacity and her understanding of the power of presentation. Cleopatra knew that in politics, perception could be as important as reality. Her actions were designed to create a lasting impression, one that would resonate with Caesar and others. She captivated Caesar with her intellect, charm, and political savvy. Cleopatra was not just a beautiful queen, she was a shrewd and intelligent leader. Her ability to engage Caesar on multiple levels, intellectually, politically, and personally, was key to forging their alliance. Caesar, already intrigued by the young queen's reputation, found himself drawn to her intelligence and ambition. He saw in Cleopatra a kindred spirit, someone who was as ambitious and driven as he was. Their partnership was not just a political alliance, but a meeting of minds. An alliance was formed, one that would change the course of both their lives and the fate of Egypt. This partnership was a turning point in history, bringing together two of the most powerful figures of the ancient world. Their combined influence would reshape the political landscape of the region. Caesar, recognizing Cleopatra's potential as a valuable ally, supported her claim to the throne. He provided her with the military and political backing she needed to challenge her brother, Ptolemy XIII. With Caesar's support, Cleopatra's position was significantly strengthened. With Roman military might behind her, Cleopatra's forces confronted Ptolemy XIII's army. The conflict was intense, with both sides fighting fiercely for control of Egypt. Cleopatra's determination and strategic acumen were on full display as she led her forces into battle. The ensuing conflict, known as the Alexandrian War, culminated in Ptolemy XIII's death, cementing Cleopatra's position as the sole ruler of Egypt. This victory was not just a personal triumph for Cleopatra, but a significant moment in the history of Egypt. Her reign would be marked by both challenges and achievements, but her determination to secure her throne was unwavering.